What's going on, guys? Boy Joey 672 and your host of the Most Philly Jim beside me. That way.
Yeah,
As usual. So sorry I couldn't make it to Read and React show. I know Philly Jim took over for that night. I had some things I was doing. But we just decided to get on for a little bit, just talk a little recap. I know we both recapped on our own channels, but we just want to come together and just go over a whole bunch of stuff right now. So Eagles win in overtime 23-17 against the New York Giants, and you can start off by how this game started and how it ended and your takeaways from this game.
Yeah, okay, let's go to the beginning of the game. Very slow start for both teams, but the Giants drew first blood. Ronald Darby basically can't complete the tackle. Poor technique, and Slayton breaks a tackle, and it's 7-0. Next thing you know, the Eagles have a decent drive, but they predictably stalled out and had to settle for three. And then Eli Manning comes out and he finds Slayton for a bomb. Big miscommunication between Darby and McLeod on that play led to a 14-3 lead. Offense couldn't do shit in the first half, but they got their shit together in the second half. It was 17-3 coming out. We had the defense pitched a shutout, so Jim Schwarzenegger, congratulations, my man. You terminated Eli Manning in the second half. So the defense made adjustments. I think the key play that is not talked about a lot is the play where Rasul Douglas had to come out of the game. I think it was under 2 minutes left. So the Eagles were charged a timeout. So we're down to one timeout left in regulation. Sidney Jones comes in on that play, and he breaks up a key pass on third down. We get the ball back. So Wentz and the offense have one last chance to try to get three. We ended up not being able to get in field goal range, so we went to overtime. In OT, Carson Wentz, he finally had his clutch moment. He's a clutch performer as a Philadelphia Eagle. I think people will kind of get off his back about saying that he can't perform in these situations. He can perform. I think he would have had a lot more of these kind of drives earlier in the season, but team just hasn't been on the same page with all the drops and everything. But I got to give credit. The biggest takeaway from that I can take from this game, it's all about Carson Wentz. People know Carson has a lot of ability. He's a freakish talent at the position.
Right.
He can do a lot of things for you on the field. He's a franchise quarterback. But what he did that he hasn't done that much this year is he took what was there. He took what the defense gave him, all the checkdowns, all the underneath stuff. He didn't try to make every play touchdown and all of that. He just took what was there, and he had two very methodical drives, great drives late in the fourth quarter and overtime. So the biggest takeaway I can say is Carson Wentz showed me that he is the guy, and he can lead us to the playoffs, and he can perform when the chips are down, and it's time to put 7 on the board. If you get the ball in OT, he can lead you down the field, go for the kill in the game. That's what he did. Carson Wentz made some big money yesterday. I'm very happy by what I saw from him. A lot of guys stood out too, like Boston Scott, Miles Sanders. But Carson Wentz gets the game ball from me.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Like, what you notice from Carson Wentz from these other games that we've had, I feel like there was a lot just going on in his head, trying to make plays when there wasn't plays, trying to make too much of what he really just couldn't do. There were certain plays in this game that happened Monday night where there were times where he could have ran for a first down. There were times where he had a guy or two open. There was a few mistakes in this game, but down to progression, he was going through his full field progressions. I mean, sitting in the pocket, extending plays outside. I mean, he would extend plays like crazy. And sometimes there were guys not open, but I think we have to give credit to these young players. I mean, we're playing, no Nelson Aguilar in the lineup, no Alshon Jeffrey. He gets hurt. I know Arcega-Whiteside got hurt later on, but these young guys, I want guys to go into this game hungry, and like these young guys to come up, guys from practice squad, bring them on up. And you got guys like Greg Ward, missed a touchdown in the end zone, but he caught one touchdown before the first down marker in traffic. He looks hungry as hell. Boston Scott, if I read the stats here, Boston Scott had 10 carries, 59 yards, and a touchdown in addition to 6 receptions, 69 yards. In the passing game, in the run game, Boston Scott was a gem. And honestly, I think we saw this a while ago before Darren Sproles was pretty much signed. I mean, in the preseason, when they were rolling with him in the backfield, he looked really good. He looked really good in the preseason games. And then, signing Darren Sproles limited Boston Scott, limited Corey Clement. That's pretty much, Corey Clement's not even a phase in this offense anymore. So when you saw Boston Scott, a young guy, that came from a Saints practice squad, came over to us, and you know what? I think we found in a nutshell, Darren Sproles pretty much the clone, his younger days as a clone, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a Donnell Pumphrey. It's a guy that has great vision, run behind, and he's so hard to see. And like we talked about earlier, Jack Rabbit, Janoris Jenkins got his ankles broken in this game.
Absolutely.
And that was just amazing to watch.
Did him dirty.
Joshua Perkins, our third string tight end. He's been on the roster for a couple of years, and you know what? He hasn't really moved from that spot. I know we had some other Alex Ellis. We had some other guys in there this year, but he moved on to another team. But Joshua Perkins, they used him since we were losing receivers. They used him in the slot as a receiver as well, which is kind of crazy. But I think he had 5 or 6 receptions, something like that, but 30-something yards, something like that. But he got some first downs for us, and he's got some reliable hands. He's a quiet guy. He doesn't really celebrate too much. Like, he gets the ball, gets his first down, and he just gets back to the lineup. So a lot of these guys coming in are very hungry. This is a very good sign, and probably a gift for us, whether we make it to the playoffs or not. Just see what we have going into next year, and then you'll know, if there's certain guys we have to get rid of or whatnot. But I was happy with Carson Wentz. Zach Ertz had a redemption game for himself because he dropped 2 passes and played really bad last week against Miami. And, a lot to prove here. A lot to prove. I know Lane Johnson went out with an injury. Big V came in at right tackle. Didn't have the most spectacular day. He overall had a good day, but there was a few times where, messed up on blocks. So Big V is a big part of this offense, too. I could see they had him as an extra lineman if Lane Johnson's in. And he plays left tackle and he can play right tackle. So having a swing tackle like Big V, especially a guy that you won the Super Bowl with in 2017, really does help. But I was really happy, other than, some of the blown coverage for the 35-yard pass to Slayton, and the slant pass with the bad tackling. I think that was a huge thing as well. But other than that, Malcolm Jenkins made some good plays. There was pressure when there was pressure. Vinny Curry, 2 sacks. Where the hell has he been all year? He's pretty much disappeared the whole year. Vinny Curry hasn't really done nothing. I think it's like his 3rd or 4th sack of the year. But, we didn't have Derek Barnett. Josh Sweat had some pressure. I don't know if he even had a sack, but he got some pressure. So Fletcher Cox, in the middle was doing okay. He wasn't really a big emphasis because Eli was really getting the ball out of his hands pretty damn quick in this game. So as of right now, I'm happy with. I just want the young guys to play. Like Nelson Aguilar didn't play. Like, do we really want him in next week? Because honestly, I'm good with enrolling what we do. I know another move is probably going to come because we need a wide receiver. So what do you think? Coming to, well, before we do that, getting to overtime. We'll go to overtime because overtime it was like, hey, we're getting the ball. I don't even think we didn't win the toss, right? They won the toss.
No, we won the toss.
We won the toss, right? And we didn't miss a beat. That whole did not miss a beat. I mean, it was crazy. Jake Elliott, I'm probably the most pissed about him. A guy that literally is the 3rd highest paid kicker in the league, and I feel like they signed him as like a panic move or something to where they give him $10 million guaranteed for 5 years, but it's just I'm not really, crazy about it because you know what? I thought maybe they would have put. That's why I didn't even make a video on it because I honestly didn't even care. But they could put some competition with the kickers this coming off season. He's got to have some competition because I have a feeling they're not going to bring anybody else in. They're going to just have him in, and that's it. And I wasn't happy with him missing, a field goal because we could have won that game. The game would have not even went to overtime regardless. So, yeah. So going to next week now. I know we got the Redskins.
Mm-hmm.
I heard Darius Geis is on injury reserve. He's not going to be in the lineup anymore. Haven't faced them since week 1. It was a totally different game. Our personnel was totally different in week 1 than it is now. And do you think the Eagles are going to sign? I know Marken Michel could be a guy that could be brought up. I would like to see what he could do, honestly, because he did really good. I know he had the 1 touchdown preseason, but hey, fuck it. Who cares? What do you think coming into this Redskins game this week?
I mean, obviously, there's guys out there. Des Bryant is still out there. Michael Crabtree is still out there. AB, Antonio Brown is still out there. And you know what? I can talk about the Antonio Brown shit all the time, but it's a 3-game season, guys. So what's the big deal about bringing AB in the building for 3 games plus maybe a playoff run? Who's to say you go out on the field and you got AB on one side and Deshaun Jackson comes back from his sports hernia and he's ready to go? Then you have yourself a dangerous team. But you know what? Realistically speaking, I could see them bringing in someone else. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're going to bring up Marken Michel, and they're going to go with Greg Ward, Marken Michel, Aguilar, and those are your – and Whiteside, and those are going to be your guys the rest of the year. So it kind of reminds me of last season whenever we had the same kind of – I don't think it was to this bad of an extent, but you had guys going down with injuries in the secondary, and then Crayvon LeBlanc was the practice squad player that came up. He really rose to the occasion, and his 4th-round rookie, Avonte Maddox, shined as well. So those guys were out there playing corner, and they were people no one knew about. But as we went on this Super Bowl title defense, they really made plays in the playoffs. Crayvon LeBlanc had that interception against the Saints on the very first play of the game. Stuff like that stands out. So maybe these young receivers can step up and rise to the challenge as we have a 3-game season to hopefully win the NFC East and host a home playoff game.
Yeah, no, it would be really nice. And I just seen the just the lack of just what they've been doing it offensively. Like this is like almost other than like week 1 having those big explosive plays, and the Packers and the Bills and you face better teams, and if you're playing worse than you are now, I mean that first quarter was a joke. I mean I couldn't believe like no, I couldn't believe, but I mean, I'm like, is this what it's going to be the whole entire game? I don't know. In past games with Carson Wentz, I just think that Wentz just tried too hard. Like he just, when guys aren't open the whole game, what are you going to do? You're going to like extend it as much as possible, whether you're getting tackled to the ground, and you're just going to chuck that thing and just do whatever you can. I mean, there was one point in this game Monday night where, remember, he literally threw the ball and it got deflected. It went straight up in the air, came down. Samalo came down and hit it, So, just got to be careful with that as well, because that could really cost you a whole entire game as well. But I saw a more hungry team Monday night, and I did. And honestly, when they came out of halftime, the report was they're saying like they said it on TV. So oh yeah, I'll report the team was kind of down because Alshon Jeffrey got hurt or some stupid crap they said on TV. It's on TV. If you watch the game again, they said it. It was weird. I was like, why would that even make a difference? And Alshon Jeffrey is just he's gotten hurt twice already, 3 times, whatever the hell it is, with a foot injury. So, this is a guy that, I don't even think he's going to be an Eagle anymore. I think this is pretty much done. And I think Carson Wentz has more to offer to this offense. They just need to let him just do his thing, but they need to give him the right, pieces around him. And, he can make this offense fly, and that's it. He went down that field, scored that touchdown, and of all people, Zach Ertz wide open back in the end zone, wide open. So if we just got if you brought in a Dez Bryant, if you just brought in that piece, fill in, bring in a Dez Bryant, at least a guy that the guy can get separation. I honestly think that would be a great signing, but the problem is I don't even know if he even would want to come here. Why not come here, face your former team, finish this shit off, and get into the playoffs. And then if you get into the playoffs, not only will you have Dez Bryant or have somebody here that can go out, a vet that can go out, get separation for Carson Wentz, plus everything else, you can get Deshaun Jackson back in the mix as well on top of all that. Imagine getting Deshaun Jackson on top of everything else in this lineup. I mean, just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we could be a dangerous team if we can just somehow get in. I saw Nitro Freak in the comments bringing up how Carson Wentz he's not a good pocket passer, but what the team is doing is they're letting him extend plays and roll out. That's what we need to keep doing, especially I don't know when we can expect Lane Johnson to be back. Yeah, I don't know if he's day to day or week to week. But they said he had a high ankle sprain. Yeah. So, we may not have all the best protection in the world. So how you make up for that is you get this guy out, you let him use his athletic ability, extend plays, roll out all day. On the run, I think Carson Wentz is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. So we got to keep doing that. You got to get creative with whatever pieces you have. Bring in a guy like Dez. Wouldn't it be about a bitch if we brought in Dez Bryant? And I just remember a few years ago, I think it was 2014, he came into Philly and he had 3 touchdowns in that game. It wouldn't be something else if he came off the street and a couple of weeks from now, he's the difference in a game that is going to decide the NFC East champion. That would be something else, I think. So, you know what? We got to just ride it out with what we got. Maybe sign a receiver. If Deshaun comes back in the playoffs, I think this team can definitely win a playoff game, whether it's San Francisco, whether it's San Francisco they have one of the best rosters in the league, but I have a feeling with Jimmy Garoppolo and a lot of young players and never been in the playoffs, they are an inexperienced playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
Eagles team is an experienced playoff team. We're probably one of the most experienced teams in terms of teams that could possibly make the playoffs besides, I would say, Seattle and the New England Patriots. I think the players we have on our team have been in enough playoff games enough times that they know what they're doing. So this team, if they get healthy, meaning if you get Jackson back,
right,
you can really make some fucking noise in the playoffs. So just let Carson Wentz do his thing and ride this thing out and see where it goes. Because who knows where it can go.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I would just ride it out. People were talking about, they're probably going to sign Jordan Matthews again. I'm like, no, hell no. Keep him off the no. He's not going to do anything. If he didn't do anything before, he's not doing anything now. That's just how it is. Um, it's just not going to work out the way we want it to work out. I'd rather have these young guys come in, and I just want to see I just want to see guys that are hungry. They're going to make plays, and you know what? We found out that Boston Scott could play in the NFL now. Like we found out that, and we all knew he could, but with this coaching staff, and they've pretty much wanted their old roster back. They pretty much wanted their old roster back. They're afraid to try out. I see all these other teams in the NFL, like so a receiver comes out. They don't go out and sign a guy that used to be on the team. They roll with what they got and they see what they have. And every other player that's on the roster, it's called evaluation.
Right.
So, and that's how what you're just going to go through preseason games? Is that how you're going to figure out this roster? Because honestly, at this point, they need to just. What if you got to lose? We're not really facing any hard teams. We have the NFC East. That's it. We have the NFC East left. That is all we have right now. So I understand that there were games beginning of the season. We've lost games by one possession, one catch. Oh my God, we would have had this division by a landslide. Losing to Miami, a huge game that we should have won. And because if we win against Miami and win this game, it pretty much would be done. It would pretty much, even if you lose one game, you'd pretty much still be in. So at this point, this team is going to fight. It's going to mean a lot to them. Like now they know like they need to win out to, win the division and get into the playoffs, get a home field, get a home game. And, it's actually exciting. I'm really happy. I'm actually really excited about these next few weeks. It's really exciting. So, hoping to see a lot more of these young guys making plays and Carson Wentz. And I'm so glad, like, I was so happy. And I'm like, Carson Wentz extends plays and everyone's bitching like he's not throwing the ball. Like, obviously, he's not throwing the ball for a fucking reason. And nobody's open. And it's the route tree, it's route combinations. There's so much involved in it. And, Doug just got to call the plays, and he's got to use these guys to their advantage. And I've seen that they're using Boston Scott in open space, moving guys around. And you know what? The Giants aren't the best team, but in the world. But you know what? Like this team, it's a good start. It was a good test.
Yep.
And to see that they didn't just fall on their back and give up at the end, it was nice. They literally won that coin toss. They got the football, and they just went all the way downfield like it was nothing. Like, we're winning the game right now. I was kind of like, oh, my God, I don't want this. I said in the third quarter, I was like, well, I don't want this game to go to overtime. Of course, it goes to overtime. So I was happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, I've already said it twice, but say it again. Great drive at the end of the fourth quarter to tie the game by Wentz. And great drive. First drive in overtime, we win the coin toss. It's like I always say, Wentz tries to do too much. He tries to make plays that aren't there. This game, he took what was there. He took the underneath shit. He took the check downs. He got the ball to Miles Sanders out of the backfield. He got the ball to Boston Scott out of the backfield. Both of them got yards after catch. Both of them made stuff happen. So the guy deserves credit. He finally answered the bell. Everyone's been criticizing him for. That's all he really has to do. That's all he really has to do. If he does that, he's going to be a really, really damn good quarterback in this league for a long time. If he just learns to, when there's big plays, make the big plays, and when there's not, just take what's there, guy's going to make shit happen. So he gets the game ball for me. They really got him going, rolling out. So I think that's where he's at his best, when he's on the move. So I think going forward, the best way for us to win games is have him move the pocket, have him get outside, use his legs, and you know what? Just take whatever's there.
Yeah, they got to let Carson Wentz be Carson Wentz. I know after the injury, everyone was like, they're going to try to maybe change. You can't change a player the way he plays. You really can't, unless it's in a negative way of football where he's not good. But that's his bread and butter, extending plays. I mean, quarterbacks do that. That's just the way of the game. So, to keep Wentz in the middle of that pocket like that, it's not going to do much. You got to let the guy move around. And God, he extended that one play. He like ran to the left, ran to the right. Guy came at him, put his head down. Guy went by. I mean, it's just imagine with like actual like talent and getting open.
Too, to Whiteside.
Yeah. And Whiteside, I think Whiteside needs. These aren't enough games. He needed a season. Like he needs a whole spiel. I don't know if the Eagles are going to be like, okay, we'll trade Alshon Jeffrey and JJ Arcega-Whiteside will be that guy, or they're gonna. I don't think they're going to trust him enough yet. I think another year, but the guy needs to do a lot more.
Yeah. I don't think he's gonna be. I don't think he's gonna be the number one receiver. I think the Eagles will be acquiring a number one receiver this offseason. Either there's a lot of good guys in the draft, and there's guys that want out of where they are, like OBJ. I think something like that's going to happen. And then the number two receiver, I think whoever the number one receiver is, whether it's Jerry Jeudy from Alabama or CeeDee Lamb, be a big deal who is on the other side. And Whiteside can just have a lot of pressure taken off of him, and he can just go play. And then I think he'll get better. I think he'll get better in the offseason. Some players need an offseason, and they get more reps, and they know what the NFL is like. They know what to expect. They know what their grind is like. So he could come out and ball out. He made one great catch where there was pass interference, but he still was able to track the football. It was a great throw. It was an even better catch. So I like what I've seen from Whiteside in little flashes. But going forward, no Jeffrey. Mac Hollins is gone, thank God. So it's going to be him, Aguilar, Greg Ward, maybe Mark Michelle. So go do what you got to do and make the most of it.
Yeah, if you remember earlier this week, like not only did they have a padded practice all week this week, but Jason Kelce had an emotional, speech to all the leaders and the rest of the team, like that they need to get their shit together. Like this is embarrassing, and it is. I know it's more than the players; it's coaching as well, but it's all about these coaches putting these players in the right position to win football games. But whatever was said must have helped, and this team came together. Didn't have a good half, but it is what it is. But I'm happy with what we're doing. I think what you said about who to get and acquiring a top talent receiver like OBJ would be awesome. Having OBJ and Deshaun Jackson on each side, then drafting your future guy to start in the slot would be absolutely amazing in the top 12, top whatever it is, whatever draft picks you can, get. And, that's why you trade some guys, get some compensation, move up in the draft and get that guy for the offense. Other than that, I'm pretty much good. Me and Jim just want to go over this, but I'm good with it.
I'm feeling good about it too. So, you know what? Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to the guys that were at the Read and React post game show yesterday. I ran it on my own. So thank you guys for being there. And the Redskins preview. As far as I know, we're gonna have it. We're gonna do it tomorrow, and we'll talk about how we can possibly get another win and climb a step closer to our goal, which is getting back to the playoffs.
Is Dwayne Haskins play? Is he?
He's starting the rest of the year.
Oh, all right. We'll get into that. I'm gonna do a little bit more research on the Redskins with their injuries and what's going on, and we'll get all that to you tomorrow night, 10:30 Eastern. And that's it. So. All right, we will see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys haven't, please, I already put the post up before. I'm gonna put the link in right now and give you guys a second. If you haven't, subscribe to Philly Jim's YouTube channel. Really do appreciate it. Covers everything Eagles. You know what the guy does. Guy works really hard to put out the news, just like the same stuff that I do. Really do appreciate it. So, other than that, guys, that's it. I will see you guys later. We're out. Fly will fly. Let's fucking go, birds. We'll see you guys. Peace out.